With more than 2 million downloads, this is your number one source for true crime coverage in America. This is Murder in the Morning with Tony Bruschi and Stacey Cole.
From the Hit Killers Podcast, Murder in the Morning.
Things are just getting, I don't even know, every time we talk about Diddy. It's just like, really?
Tony, I've got an idea.
Yeah?
So next to me is an amazing calendar that I bought. It's, I don't even know the name of it, but it's like a fuck a day calendar.
Okay.
And it, like every day it's got something like on September 5th, I ripped this off. It said, be fucking nice to yourself. And then the next day, hashtag clusterfuck. So it's just using the word fuck, you know, every day.
Yeah.
Well, we should do a Diddy a day calendar.
Oh my God.
We could.
You need more than one for a day. You certainly could at this point. This one, a Florida business owner and model, identifying as a Jane Doe, has filed a lawsuit accusing music mogul Sean Diddy Combs of sexually assaulting her multiple times over the past 4 years. The lawsuit filed in New York City alleges that Combs used harassment, surveillance, and forced drug use to control Doe during their encounters. What the fuck is up with having to do all these things to control these people? He's fucking rich as shit. I would think he could and have women and whoever he wants for the most part, without having to drug them or force them to go and do all this with him.
Well, you know, it comes down to it's real easy for someone like you and I to ask, well, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's got everything. He doesn't have to do this to get women. He's got a control issue. Beyond. I mean, there's something we're bordering on sadistic here.
It is sadistic.
Maybe we've crossed it.
I mean, it's not just, you know, like you're my girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. It's like it's like I have to mind control you and drug you and surveil you and beat you down so you are subservient to me, and that's all you will be. I mean, that's what he seems to kind of be like here. This is just, it's beyond like any sort of, you know, somebody saying, oh, my boyfriend's controlling. No, this is like my boyfriend has brainwashed me and has a remote control.
I wonder, what was his mom like?
I don't know, but they're still close.
I want to know more about her.
Yeah, I am a little curious. According to the complaint, Doe met Combs overseas in the fall of 2020 and continued to see him until 2024. The lawsuit claims that during this time, Combs coerced her into traveling to his homes in various cities, including Los Angeles, New York, and Miami, for monthly sexual encounters. Although these trips appeared consensual, Doe's lawyers argue that she was manipulated and harassed into participating. The complaint alleges that Combs and his associates would pressure Doe into making these trips, even going so far as to send a driver to pick her up before she agreed to travel. The allegations in the lawsuit paint a troubling picture of ongoing abuse. Doe claims that Combs frequently forced her to involve other men and women in their sexual encounters, despite her objections, coerced into taking drugs, and even pressured her to watch and participate in the abuse of other women. According to the lawsuit, Combs maintained control over Doe by using harassing language, recording their encounters without her consent, and cutting off her allowance when she refused his demands. Attorney Marie Napoli, who represents Doe alongside Joseph L. Sacascio, emphasized the significance of the case, stating powerful figures in the entertainment industry have long exploited aspiring artists and fans. Recent high-profile lawsuits aim to hold these celebrities accountable, potentially transforming industry practices and providing justice for victims, Napoli said.
Weinstein.
Yeah. Why did it take this long for the music industry to get here? You know?
That's a really good question, because we know this has been going on for a long time. It's not just Diddy. Forgive me if there's any big Frank Sinatra fans listening, but wasn't he kind of an asshole pulling some shit too?
If Frank Sinatra or Elvis Presley were fucking alive today, they would be looked at as Diddy and R. Kelly.
100%. They were disgusting from what I recall.
Yeah. I know there's gonna be a lot
I wasn't even in the industry back then.
There's a lot of people who really don't like the Elvis part. And I would say And Elvis is creepy in a whole different way because he started dating Priscilla when she was fucking 14. And knew her even when she was younger. That's just fucking weird. And he's like in his mid 20s. No, I'm sorry. It's fucking weird. And yeah, so I just, yeah, that's all I can say about that. The lawsuit details several disturbing incidents. In one claim, Doe woke up in Combs' Miami home in the spring of 2022 with injuries indicating a bite mark on her heel, with no recollection of how it occurred. In another instance, in July 2022, Doe alleges that Combs gave her a substance she suspected was ketamine, causing her to lose consciousness for an entire night. Following that incident, Doe discovered she was pregnant, but later suffered a miscarriage. The complaint alleges that from that point until July of 24, Doe was forced to perform a show for Combs every time she visited. According to the lawsuit, Combs would ply her with alcohol and drugs until she passed out, and she'd wake up with bruises and injuries, but no memory of how they were sustained. The lawsuit claims that as a result of her experiences, Doe has suffered severe emotional distress, physical injuries, and financial harm. Combs, who has previously denied similar accusations, did not immediately respond to HuffPost's request for the comment, where we got the story from. He has consistently denied allegations in previous lawsuits and has pled not guilty to federal criminal charges or trafficking and racketeering. Attorneys representing other clients have said that they're working with more than 50 individuals who are also pursuing actions against Combs. The fucking floodgates have burst.
50. That number is so small.
Oh,
there's no way it's just 50.
Probably had like 50 assaults in one night.
Easily. It's really frightening. And how many women and men are not going to come forward? They're looking at their lives going, I can't sustain what this is going to do to me. I'm just going to have to stuff it down. And my therapist is the only one who's going to know about it because I can't talk about it. I just don't have it in me.
You better hope to God your therapist is not like the Menendez brothers therapist.
Oh, God. Speaking of which, right?
Shit leaks out. Or it's accessible in some way where it shouldn't have been. But yeah, it's the stories. I mean, one can say, well, people can make things that, yeah, they can, but it's all the same stuff. You're gonna start getting more and more people intermingled in these suits where it's like, oh, I was at that one too, and there'll be corroborating stories. And the thing is, at the end of the day, is there going to be any money? I guess is the question. With this,
there's not going to be a lot left. I can tell you that. And I don't know if you ever watched the CBS Sunday morning show that they do. I think it's on at like 8 a.m. way too early, but I record it.
Yeah, CBS Sunday morning.
Yes, thank you. Yesterday, they did a special. I think it was yesterday, talking about how people view their like celebrity crushes and what it's like to actually meet your, somebody you're a huge fan of. And there's an actual college course about, basically idol worship. Mm-hmm. And I just wonder, he had a lot of money and fame. If he were just an average guy, let's just say he bought 10 bottles of baby oil instead of 1,000, would he have been able to get away with as much? Would he be this same monster, or was it because of the fame and the money that he was able to continue this?
Well, that certainly allowed it to continue. That's what funded it. It's the fame and the money.
But what's the attraction to him? There had to be something. I mean, a lot of women, and I'm not victim blaming. My God, I get it. But at some point, do you step back and go, this guy's a nobody? I mean, really,
because he wasn't a nobody.
Human.
He's a horrible human being, but he wasn't a nobody.
Well, as far as integrity, he was a nobody. I mean, yeah, he had a big name. I didn't care for his music.
Well, a lot of people did. And I mean, obviously he was extremely successful. And so, I mean, that's how they get sucked in.
I just wonder, though, it would be so curious to really do a dive into this and why why didn't some of these people step back and go, this is insane?
Some people did.
What gets them under that trance that they just go, okay, Diddy said I got to do this, I'm going to do it?
Coercion, having basically blackmail material on you that they will expose to your friends and family. And yeah, I mean, that's basically, Diddy is a video guy like Epstein. So this girl, you know, and I thought it was spelled out pretty good in that story of, why did she keep going? Why did she keep, because there's pressure there, making these trips, because she was being manipulated by threats of probably violence, but I'm going to guess, hey, you want your family to see you in this scene over here, will ruin your life that way. And so it's better just to go along with it. And when you're young and dumb and, you don't really see any way out. And in a lot of cases, there really isn't, unless you're ready to have that sort of stuff come out.
I just think in our society, and I'm speaking for Americans, I don't know what it's like in other countries, but we put way too much emphasis on the rich and famous. We really do. There has to come a point where I'm talking out of my ass, because I think, let's just say if Prince were still alive and he walked in and said, hey, come here and do this, I probably would do that. Okay. So I'm speaking from that. But at some point, can't you step back and say, this is just a human being? So they have a lot of money. They seem to have a lot of industry ability.
You just said it right there. That's the power that they have.
But why do we give them so much power?
I don't know. You're the one who just said you do that to the corpse of Prince.
I don't know. I'm just dumbfounded that, there are lovely people who aren't famous that this whole story just baffles me. And I guess I'm just babbling out loud and talking in circles here, but I just don't understand how somebody with such a shit personality gets away with so much. It's the fame and fortune. And I don't understand why our society allows that to continue. It's
power and control. It's not necessarily the fame itself. It's the power that comes along with the money. There's tons of powerful people who are, probably most powerful people are not what would be considered, celebrities in the sense that we consider celebrities. But when you have that kind of money and that kind of power, that's a whole different fucking planet there sometimes with those people.
It just feels like you can judge people based on what status they fly. Are they flying first class? Are they flying coach? Are they flying in a private jet? Do they own the private jet? I mean, it's like that is like your level of
you can judge
influence.
People by the cars they drive too.
True. Just, I'm shaking my head. You and I have run across a lot of famous people. Mm-hmm. Some of them assholes. And you just kind of look at him and go, done with you. And yet, look at the shit he pulled, He knew how to market himself. And I'm going to guess we're going to find out he also knew how to pay off authorities. I think that'll be part of all of this.
You're neck deep in a dark, twisted tale. And just as the tension peaks, bam, a commercial about some miracle diet pill breaks the spell. It's like finding a fly in your soup after the first bite. But here's the fix. True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. You get to enjoy your crime stories without the junk. Ad-free episodes, extended interviews that go beyond the surface, and early access to all the gruesome details. It's like swapping out a can of cheap beer for a glass of fine whiskey. So search for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe and keep the darkness flowing uninterrupted.